Today I'm going to be showing you how to crochet the basket weave stitch. Now this stitch is one of those stitches that look super complicated, but once you get going, it is actually incredibly simple. It creates this amazing texture, which is the same on the front and the back, and is built over a 6-row repeat. Don't let that put you off. The 6 rows are incredibly easy to remember. This is quite a big one, so let's leap straight on in. To begin, pop a slip knot onto your hook. Now the pattern multiple for the basket weave stitch is 8 plus 4. Now all that means is you're going to chain in multiples of 8, 8, 8, 8, and then add 4 chains at the very end. We have 3 setup rows to get through before we then begin the 6-row pattern repeat. It is very simple, bear with it and trust the process. I promise eventually it will click. So I'm only going to be making a small sample today, so I'm going to go ahead and chain 36, which is my pattern multiple of 8 plus 4. Once you have your desired amount of chains, we're going to begin by working a double crochet into the 4th chain from the hook. Now this loop on your hook does not count as anything. You only want to count the fully formed chains hanging down below. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and into that 4th chain, work a double crochet stitch. Now for this very first row, we're going to work a double crochet into every single chain all the way along to the end. So just work a double crochet into each of the remaining chains. For row 2, chain 2 and turn. We're going to be working front and back post stitches. If you need a quick refresher on front or back post stitches, I do have a video on that, which will have either popped up on screen or is down in the comments section below. We're going to work front post stitches around the next 4 stitches. So ignore this stitch where you just chained from. That chain 2 counts as a stitch. We're going to move to the 2nd double crochet from the row below, and we're going to work a front post double crochet stitch. So I'm just going to pop my hook in from the back to the front and push the post of that double crochet stitch forwards for a front post, and I'm going to yarn over and create my double crochet as normal. So that is a front post double crochet stitch. That's 1. I need 4 in total, so work a front post double crochet around the next 3 stitches. Post stitches like to scrunch down on themselves, so you can go ahead and just pull them up occasionally as you're working. So you've done 4 front post double crochet stitches. Now we're going to alternate and we're going to do 4 back post double crochet stitches. So I'm going to come around and I'm going to push, putting my hook from the back, and I'm pushing that post of the double crochet backwards this time. I don't know if you can see in there, my hook is coming through that way. I'm going to create a back post double crochet stitch. So working in the opposite direction, and I'm going to make 4 of those. So back post double crochet around 4 stitches. So I have 4 front post stitches and 4 back post stitches. We're going to alternate working in groups of 4. 4 front post stitches followed by 4 back post stitches all the way down. So front post double crochets in the next 4 stitches. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and then back post double crochet around the next 4 stitches. So keep alternating. 4 front post double crochet followed by 4 back post double crochet. 4 front post double crochet, 4 back post double crochet, all the way down. These setup rows tend to get a bit scrunchy and difficult, so if you feel like you need to just pause your crocheting and just pull everything into shape so you can just see, just check you're on the right track. Take a moment just to stretch it out. You might find that easier. So keep going, alternating 4 front post double crochets followed by 4 back post double crochets all the way to the end. Once you reach the very end and you have done your last set of 4 stitches, you'll be left with just the turning chain. To end, work a double crochet into the top of that turning chain. For row 3 is the last of these first 3 setup rows. After that, we will be on to the pattern repeat itself. So for row 3, chain 2 and turn. Now the basket weave stitch is made up, each little block is made up of 3 rows. If I bring in my sample, each of these little blocks is made of 3 rows. 3 rows. So because this is row 3, we want these little blocks to have our stitches, these textures being the same. So for this row, this third row, we want to follow what our stitches are doing. So you'll have front post stitches looking at you and the back post stitches tucked away, creating this very pretty little ridge. So you'll be able to see a clear definition between your front post stitches and your back post stitches. Your front post stitches will be popping towards you. Your back post stitches will be sunk away from you, dipping in a bit. So we want to follow that. So when you start, if your stitches are popping towards you as front double crochet stitches, then we know we need to work front post double crochet stitches there. If they are sunk back from you and they are back post, then you know that's the stitch you need to start with, a back post. For me, I have front post stitches popping out towards me. So for the next 4 double crochet, I will be working front post double crochet stitches. So remember, this chain 2 counts as a stitch. You will not have a post stitch in that very first stitch, nor will you have one in the very last stitch. It's only in these groups of 4. And because these are popping forwards, I know that these are front post double crochet stitches. So I'm going to work 4 front post double crochet stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now for my next set of 4 stitches, they're pushed away from me, they're dipping in, so I know they're back post double crochet stitches. So I'm going to work 4 back post double crochet stitches. So as you're building on the 3 rows to form your block, you'll be following, guided by your stitches below. So you'll know if they're pushed backwards, they're back post, and if they're popping forwards, they're front post. So keep going, again, working your 4 front post followed by 4 back post. So if it's popping out, it's a front post stitch. If it's pushed back, it's a back post stitch. Keep going along the row. To end this row, we're going to work a double crochet into the chain 2 turning chain. We're going to work it into the top. Now, as these blocks are worked in sets of 3 rows to create little basket woven sections, because they're formed in groups of 3, if you wanted to change color, this is the stitch to change it on. And if you wanted this sort of effect, I change color every 3 rows. Every 3 rows. If you are continuing with the same color, then that is absolutely fine. You don't need to change color every 3 rows. But if you wanted to, we're ending with a double crochet into the top of that chain 2 turning chain. And to change color, before you do the last yarn over and pull through of those last 2 loops of your double crochet stitch, drop the color you're working with, cut the yarn, and bring in your new color. You want to drape that over your hook, pull it through those remaining 2 stitches to complete the stitch. Then you have changed color, ready to begin your next row. So that is the first 3 setup rows complete. Now we're going to begin the pattern repeat rows. So for row 4, the first of these pattern repeat rows, chain 2 and turn. Now, as I keep mentioning, the basket weave is made up of 3 rows. Each little block is 3 rows. So now for row 4, we are going to be doing the opposite stitch to what we were doing in the row below. So we're going to start with the opposite post stitch to the one that we have been working for the last 3 rows. So for row 4, we're going to begin. Remember that chain 2 counts as a stitch, so skip this first stitch and working into the first of your post stitches. We're going to begin row 4 with a back post. So a back post stitch. And we're going to work back post double crochets around these previous front post ones. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we're working the opposite post to what we were doing in the row below. So that is 4 back post stitches around my popping forward front posts. Now I can see that on these next 4 ones, they're dipped back, so I know they're back post stitches. Therefore, we're doing the opposite. I need front post stitches around the next 4. So front post double crochets, 4 of those. So we're now doing the opposite. So keep going. We started with a chain 2 and 4 back post double crochets. Then we did 4 front post double crochet stitches. Now repeat that all the way down, alternating back post in 4 and then front post for the next 4. So 4 back post double crochet stitches followed by 4 front post double crochet stitches. Once you reach the end of the row and you have done your final 4 stitches, don't forget we have our chain 2 here and we need to end with a double crochet, just a plain double crochet into the top of the turning chain. For row 5, chain 2 and turn. As each basket weave section is built over 3 rows, we've done 1 row, we need 2 more in this beige colour. And for the next 2 rows, we're going to be following whatever our stitches are doing. So when they pop forwards, you know that is a front post, and when they're sunk backwards, that is a back post. So we're going to mirror exactly what we did in the row below, row 4. So repeat row 4. Chain 2, skip that first stitch, and then around the second, work a back post double crochet. Then work a back post around the next 3 for your set of 4. So start with 4 back post double crochet, then switch to 4 front post double crochet and alternate that all the way down the row. If it's popping out at you, it's a front post double crochet. If it's sunk back from you, it's a back post double crochet. We're just repeating row 4 all over again. To end row 5, end with a double crochet into the top of your chain 2 turning chain. Don't forget this end double crochet. You start and end with just a double crochet, not a post stitch. For row 6, chain 2 and turn. And as we are now onto 1, 2, row 3 of the 6 row pattern repeat. So we've done row 4 and row 5, 1, 2. This is the third one. These blocks are made up of 3 rows. So for row 6, repeat row 4 again. We're going to be repeating 4, 5, 6 they're all the same. So again, start second stitch, because your chain 2 counts, with 4 back post double crochet stitches. This is exactly the same as row 4 and row 5. Row 6 is just a repeat. You've done 4 back post double crochet, you've got 4 popping towards you, so 4 front post double crochets. Alternate these all the way down to the end, just as you have been doing for the last 2 rows. Once you reach the end of row 6, we're going to end with a double crochet into the top of the churning chain, and because I am changing colours, this is now the row to change colours on. I have done my 3 rows, my little basket weave blocks are complete, so I'm going to change colour on this very last stitch. You can now see your basket weave pattern, sort of checkered pattern, starting to come to life. So for row 7, chain 2 and turn. Now row 7 is the start of your next 3 rows. So we want to go to the opposite of how we have been starting the last 3 rows. So we started the last 3 rows with a back post double crochet. For row 7, turn it around and we're going to start with a front post. So we're going to alternate the starting set of stitches, because now we want to go back to having front post where we had back post previously. So for row 7, start with 4 front post double crochet stitches. Working into that second stitch along, remember you always leave one unworked because the chain 2 counts as your first double crochet. So switch it up for row 7. Do the opposite of what your stitch is below. So if your stitch from the row below is pushed back, make a front post double crochet. When the stitch is popping forwards, make a back post double crochet for row 7. Continue this all the way down. 4 front post double crochets followed by 4 back post double crochets. To end row 7, once you have finished your last set of 4 stitches, end with a double crochet into the top of the chain 2 turning chain. Feel free to pull everything up because you're probably getting pretty bunched up at this point. So let's get some slack back into our work. For row 8, chain 2, turn, and we are going to be repeating exactly what we just did in row 7. So start with 4 front post double crochet stitches. They're popping towards you, so you know they're front posts. And then followed by 4 back posts. These are sitting backwards, so that's how you know it's a back post stitch. So keep alternating, just as you did in row 7, all the way down to the end. To end row 8, once you've finished your final post stitch, end with that double crochet into the top of your chain 2 turning chain. For row 9, which is the last of these 6 row repeats, chain 2, turn, and we are going to do exactly what we have been doing for the last 2 rows. So start with 4 front post double crochet stitches. If they're popping towards you, this is one of those rows where you just want to copy what you did on the row below. So the repeat of row 7, if your stitches are popping towards you, do a front post double crochet, and if your posts are sunk back from you, do a back post double crochet. So at the end of row 9, we're going to end with a double crochet into the top of your chain 2 turning chain. And if you have been changing colors every 3 rows, this would be the point at which you change color again. Just pull everything into shape. So you will notice by this stage that your front posts and your back post form almost like a checkerboard effect. So to continue the pattern, you are going to repeat rows 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, these beige and mustard rows. You can use this video to go back, but as a cheat sheet, rows 4, 5, and 6 start with back post double crochet stitches. Then for rows 7, 8, and 9, start with front post stitches. So you do 3 rows with a back post, followed by 3 rows starting with the front post. And you just repeat those 6 rows over and over and over again. So a 6-row repeat sounds like a lot, but I promise it isn't, because rows 4, 5, and 6, they're all exactly the same. Rows 7, 8, and 9, they are exactly the same as well. So you've only really got to remember to alternate your post stitches every 3 rows. And the pattern works up over 6. So I promise it is more simple than it sounds. The front and back are fully reversible. Yes, it is a bit of a yarn eater. Yes, it is a dense stitch. Yes, you may need to block it, but look at it. Tell me this stitch is not worth it. So I hope you enjoyed this rather meaty tutorial. Please do let me know down in the comment section what you think of the basket weave stitch. And until next time, happy crocheting. Bye.